guys, welcome to this video on reduction reactions. The first key rule to remember is that whenever you have a reduction reaction, the products are always going to be your metal and carbon dioxide. So if you had a question like this, it said write the balanced equation for the reduction of copper oxide CuO with carbon, the first thing you need to remember is that carbon is a solid and goes around on its own as just C. So copper oxide is CuO, carbon is C. Now, as I said, it's a reduction, so you're going to get copper, and you always get carbon dioxide, which is CO2. So the next step is to balance it, and I have 1 copper, 1 oxygen and 1 carbon on the left. On the right, 1 copper, 1 carbon and 2 oxygens. So the only one that's not balanced is my oxygen, so I need to double that. That makes the oxygen balanced, but I also double the copper as well, so that gives me 2. Therefore on the right hand side I need to put a 2 in front of my copper as well. 1 times 2 gives me 2, and my copper, oxygen and carbon are all balanced for my third mark. So hopefully that's fairly simple. The only way they can get slightly more complicated is if they don't give you the formula. So in this case you have iron 3 oxide extracted with carbon to form iron and a gas. So if you get this, the first rule is to work out the formula of iron 3 oxide. That little 3 there, because iron is a transition metal, you can't work out the number of electrons or the charge. So iron is Fe3+. It's a metal, so it's positive, and iron 3, 3+. Oxygen's in group 6, needs 2 electrons, so it becomes O2-. Therefore my formula is Fe3 plus O2-. We're about the charge like you normally do, and then take that number and swap it around. So it becomes Fe2O3. And as the question says, I'm reacting that with carbon. I'm going to extract my metal, which in this case is iron, Fe, and the gas I've always told you is carbon dioxide. So now we've done that, it's time to balance. So on the left hand side I have 2 irons, I have 3 oxygens, and I have 1 carbon. On the right I have 1 iron, 1 carbon and 2 oxygens. So as I've said in the past, we've got a big compound here, and it's got some odd numbers in. Well, oxygen is 3. So we start off by doubling that. So put a 2 in front of that and recount. I had 2 irons, I've now got 4. I had 3 oxygens, I've now got 6. And then we can reevaluate. What do I need to put in front of my iron? A 4, that will balance it. Oxygen, I've got 2. I need 6, so what do I times that by? The answer is 3. So put a 3 in front of the oxygen, and that's correct. Now I've got 3 carbon as well. My iron and oxygen are correct, my carbon isn't. All I need to do is put a 3 on the left hand side, and that is now balanced, and I've got my 3 marks. Right, one final example then. This one we've got a slightly different reactant. So I have iron 2 oxide, which is Fe2+, and then O2-. The charges are already balanced, so I don't do anything to it. My formula is just FeO, as you can see here. This time I'm reacting it with carbon monoxide, so that just makes it slightly more complicated because you've got 2 lots of oxygen. We're extracting the metal, so it's iron, and we're getting carbon dioxide over there. Now in this case, work out what you've got on either side again. So I've got 1 iron, 1 carbon and 2 oxygens on the left, and on the right 1 iron, 1 carbon and 2 oxygens. So actually this one's already balanced and I don't need to do any more. Right, you guys can have a go yourself. Okay, let's see how you've done then. So we've got 3 questions I'd like you to have a go at here. 2 of them are normal level difficulty and 1 of them is a challenge. So the first question says lead is reduced from lead oxide PbO with carbon. Carbon dioxide is produced. So it gives you all of your reactants, all of your products. You've just got to put that into a balanced equation for the chemical reaction. Question 2 says chromium oxide, CrO3, is reduced with carbon monoxide. Write the balanced equation. So here you have to work out what the products are. And then finally, your challenge is copper 1 oxide is reduced with carbon. Write the balanced equation for this reaction. So here you have to work out your reactants and your products. Pause the video, have a go at all 3 questions, and we'll see how you've done in a min. Okay, let's see how you've done then. So we'll start off with question 1. So this one says that lead is reduced from lead oxide. So we're starting off with lead 2 oxide here, which is given as the formula PbO. You're using carbon to do it, and it's telling us that we're getting lead out of it. Our byproduct in all reduction reactions is carbon dioxide, so we get CO2. Write the balanced equation for the chemical reaction. So we count up what we've got on either side: 1 lead, 1 oxygen, and 1 carbon. On the right, 1 lead, 2 oxygens, and 1 carbon. So as you can see straight away, my lead and my carbon are balanced, so let's go to my oxygen on the left hand side. I've got 1, I need 2. The only thing I can do is double this entire compound. So by doing that, I get 2 leads and 2 oxygens on the left hand side. Now you can see the oxygen's balanced, but the lead no longer is. So all I need to do is go to my lead over here, double that, and as you can see, that balances it for me. Moving on to the second question. This one says chromium oxide, CrO3, is reduced with carbon monoxide. Again, you need to remember that carbon monoxide is CO. Write the balanced equation for the chemical reaction. So if you get something like this, as I've said in the past, the metal is what you're extracting, so it's just Cr. And then in every situation you'll get carbon dioxide produced, which is CO2. So again, your next job is to count up what you've got. 1 chromium, 3 oxygens, plus 1 over here is 4, and then 1 carbon. And on the right hand side I've got 1 chromium, 2 oxygens, and 1 carbon. Carbon's balanced and chromium's balanced at the moment, but oxygen isn't. Now I have said in the past to double the difficult compound, and you can do that, but you'll find out you've actually got it even throughout, so you can divide down. So I'm going to simplify it and just go straight to the end point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and times it by 3, because by doing that I times my oxygen by 3, which gives me 6 in total on the left, and it times my carbon by 3. Chromium is still balanced, but my carbon isn't. So on the right hand side I have 2 oxygens, I need 6, so I can put a 3 in front of there, and by doing that you'll see it times my oxygen by 3 to give me 6, and my carbon by 3 to give me 3, and it's all balanced. If you'd done it the long way, you'd have ended up with 2 CrO3 plus 6 CO plus 2 Cr plus 6 CO2, which you can then divide by 2 and simplify. So that is your correct answer. Hopefully you got that. On to the challenge question then. So this one says copper oxide, copper 1 oxide is reduced with carbon. Write the balanced equation. So the first thing is to find out the formula for your copper oxide. Now it tells you that it's copper 1. So copper 1 means Cu plus. Oxygen is in group 6, gains 2 negative electrons, becomes O2 minus. Then it's exactly the same as we've done in the previous videos. Get rid of the charge, put the number on the opposite side and down below. So my formula is Cu2O. It's reduced with carbon. Carbon is just C. And there's my first mark. The next thing, you're extracting the metal, so I end up with copper, and I also get carbon dioxide. Now we count up. I've got 2 coppers, 1 oxygen, and 1 carbon, and on the right 1 copper, 2 oxygen, and 1 carbon. So my carbon's already balanced, I don't need to do anything with that. Now I could choose one of these. I could double the copper there, but then I'd have an issue with the oxygen over here, so I'm going to start with that one and I'm going to double it. If I times that by 2, you'll see that my copper and oxygen both multiply by 2, so that gives me 4 copper and 2 oxygen, and my oxygen is now balanced. My copper isn't. I've got 1, I need 4, so I'll put a 4 in front of it, and that balances it for me, and that gets me my third mark. So that brings us to the end of this video. There are 3 questions that you can have a go at for the review. The first one being zinc oxide is reduced with carbon, write the balanced equation. The second one, titanium oxide, TiO2, is reduced with carbon monoxide, write the balanced equation. And then finally, silver 1 oxide is reduced twice, once with carbon and once with carbon monoxide, write the balanced equations for both reactions. So start by working out the formula of silver oxide. Remember, that will be Ag+, and then you're doing 2 reactions, Ag or silver oxide plus carbon, and then your second one is silver oxide plus carbon monoxide. Your products will be the same in both, your balancing will be different. That brings us to the end of this video. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click on the subscribe button down below, visit the website, and you can find me on Facebook and Twitter.